What's up, guys? Welcome back to Wiseman Custom Resin Works. Today I was looking up a few different ways. I need to make some new coasters, and as you guys know, if you've been watching our videos, we're a little newer into doing the smaller pours. So I ordered some molds off of Amazon, and they didn't come in exactly what I was hoping to receive. So they're great molds still, don't get me wrong. I've used them before also to make some other coasters, but as you can see, they've got this indent right there, which I don't need that. I need to be able to use make wooden coasters. So we got part wood, part epoxy. So in order to, I was looking around and I was a little unsure on what molds were what. So I come across a video that says that you can make your own silicone mold. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, how true it is. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do a little experiment. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if we can try to create our own mold. So basically, from what I can see, looks like you're going to need some warm water, which I just got that warm. You're going to need some gloves, some Dawn dish soap, and some 100% all-purpose silicone. It has to say 100% silicone from what I've seen from all the videos I've watched, or else it's just not going to work. But the gist of it is you're going to want to put some, you're going to want to use your Dawn dish soap. You're going to want to put it in there. From what I've seen is you're going to want a decent amount. I didn't really have very much. It's kind of a spur of the moment thing. I had this stuff just kind of laying around here. So I really didn't have a chance to go to the store or anything like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hope that I have enough here and that it's enough to be able to make it work for us. So what we're going to do, I got this poured in here. Get this mixed up. Let's see if we can shoot some water in here just to kind of give us a little bit more of the soap. And there we go. So I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of the soap is. I don't know if maybe it activates it. I'm not too sure, but that's just what I was reading about, and from what I've seen is it works best. We're gonna give this a mix. From what I've seen is you want to get it pretty soapy. Like I said, I didn't really have very much soap. It's kind of course I don't want to waste it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I figured I would bring you guys along with along with me, just kind of experiment with me, see if it's gonna work, see if it's not, and if it does, then you've got a very cheap and inexpensive way to make your own mold at home. Basically, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fill it up, and I'm going to hopefully make a mold that's gonna be similar to this. That way I can take this piece here off, and this pretty much a 4x4 to make a coaster. I'm going to want to take this piece off, that way it'll leave this piece, so then this side here will eventually be just resin. Of course, the piece that I'm using for this mold is obviously not exactly what I'm going to use. I've got other wood. That's just what I'm using to hopefully be able to make the mold with. Being that it is obviously the same size as what I need it to be. Now when you're working with the completely silicone, I've been a contractor for a long time. I've always gotten the silicone and all that stuff on my hands. Never had an issue, but for the sake of safety, and allergies. You know, some people have allergies to different things. You know, like I said, I've been around it for a long time, so I come from that type of background, so it doesn't bother me. But for the sake of the video and for the sake of everyone else's safety, you're gonna want to wear some type of rubber gloves, just kind of the same way as when you're pouring the epoxy or soaps or whatever you're using it for. Now I've seen this used for soaps, as far as soap molds. I do know I've seen people using it to make the soap molds, but I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I got a message there I was trying to read about. So I'm not sure if it's going to work for resin or not, but we're going to find out. And you guys are coming right along with me as we do find out. So what we're going to do, going to get that last little bit of soap out of there, just because I don't know if I have enough in there. And the more the better is what I was told, but it looks pretty blue, so we're going to hope that's enough. So basically, the tube here, I've already cut the tip off for sake of saving a little bit of time. As you can see, the tip just goes there. You just cut that off. Then there is another little plastic thing inside there, like a little tin thing, if you can see that. So what we're gonna do, usually most caulking guns, this one has one little thing on the side here. Usually just pop that out, reach down in there, pop it, kind of poke it a few times just to get a good, a real good hold down there. Or you know, a screwdriver works great. But you know, if you don't have a screwdriver, then like I said, a lot of the caulking guns come with that on it already. Other than that, you want to put it into your caulking gun, and from what I can see is you just pour. Obviously you want to cut a bigger hole here, that way you can let a lot out. From what I can see, from what I was reading about, is you just kind of force it around in here, and it just comes out really stringy, and you just want to run it around and just kind of let it get all up in here. And I'm guessing the soap is what activates it, and then once we get enough in here to where I feel it'll cover up the mold where we need it to be, we're gonna kind of knead it around with my hands, just to kind of get it around, you know, to go around the wood like we want it to go, and to make the make the figure that we want it to make. So I'm not really sure how much I'm gonna need, so I'm gonna start with that, and if I need more, then I can always get more out. You know, you can always put more in, you know, as long as you put it into the water, from what I've been told watching on the other videos. Now basically what I'm gonna do in this part, I'm just gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna kind of knead it around here. I'm gonna move you guys in a little bit closer so you can see kind of more what I'm doing here. There we go. That way you guys can see a tad bit better. So once it's been in there for a second, from what I've read, you want it to kind of look a little white, which is kind of like this here. You know, once it starts looking white like that, you just want to kind of reach in, knead it around. Now if you're using a smaller thing like I am, which probably wasn't the smartest idea that I've had, so I'm gonna grab a little cup here, just kind of relieve a little bit of that water. I probably should have used a tad bit bigger thing here to be able to do it with, but I wasn't thinking about that. So for the sake, oh, and I made a huge mess, but it's alright. There's a little bit more of that water, and I'm just gonna wipe that up. Now I have just a piece of plastic down here, well, not plastic, but I'm drawing a blank. What we use to make our molds, pretty much, when we're plexiglass. I'm sorry. You know, I just had a small piece of plexiglass down there. just to kind of catch a little bit of water that overflowed out. But it's not a big deal. If it does overflow, you know, it's a piece of plexiglass, it'll catch it all. You know, but other than that, from what I've seen, is you kind of want to knead it around like this here. Once you get it a little wet, let it knead around. That way you can get it all together, but you don't want to get it too wet, because you also want it to be able to have its stickiness still and its binding agents. That way it can still bind to what you want to go over it with. Now, if I want it to mold anything else, like say I want it to mold one of these letters, for example, basically I would flatten it, push that down into it, and then when I'm done, I've got that. So kind of what I'm going to do is, it's kind of the same situation. You know, I want to do the mold here with the wood, so I'm going to kind of just do something similar to that, just to kind of get it covered up. That way when it's done, it will be able to give me a pretty decent flat mold to be able to use as a coaster mold. Now, I'm not 100% sure if these molds are reusable. I wouldn't imagine that they are, but it's very possible. But we will see. So what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of lay it out here. We're going to lay it out here and just kind of flatten it out over it. And then we're just going to go around it. And it looks like we're probably going to need a bit more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to put a bit more in here. That way I can add to it and let it get the form that I want it to have. Now, the videos I watched, they used about a half a tube. I may end up using a full tube, may end up using a half a tube. I'm not sure, but who knows. But what I do know is I definitely want to make sure that my molds are thick. I want to make sure that they are definitely covering everything the way they should be covered. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move this, that way I can get over here, and I'm going to just flatten it down just to kind of get it like that there. And I'm going to pick it up to make sure that everything is kind of flat around it. Of course, it left a little bit there. So like I said, guys, I'm new to this myself. I'm not too sure if it works, if it doesn't. You know, if it works, then, you know, that's great. It's a quick way to get some molds if you're in a pinch. You know, if you need it right away. You know, if it doesn't, then hey, you know, I didn't waste anything but a couple of dollars in my time. You know, the silicone was like $5, and caulking gun, I already had that, so I didn't have to buy anything like that. You know, and then you know, really just my time for doing it. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's gonna work, if it is, if it's not. It may not. But we're gonna give it a shot and try. Just because, you know, like I said, you know, I definitely need something to get my my coasters done with right now, rather than having to wait. One of the things you do want to know when you are working with this is It definitely has a very, very strong vinegar smell. You know, actually it's kind of so strong it's burning my eyes a little. I'm going to open the door here. Got the door closed there. So it's kind of working in a little confined area. I wouldn't recommend that. You know, it definitely is a pretty potent thing here. So I would recommend definitely having, you know, enough area where it's pretty ventilated that you can work in. Other than that, let me see here. I'm gonna just kind of flatten it, and you can kind of shape it around. It seems like it's shaping up pretty easily. You know, you just want to kind of work it all around and just make sure that you guys got a good square. You know, if you're going to be using it for what I'm using it for, then you know you want to have a good square surface that you got it on there. Kind of try to steal a little bit of this side and put it over here to this side, and maybe that'll work for me. Get a little bit more water up there just to kind of spread it around a tad bit more. Like I said earlier, guys, I really don't know if it's gonna come out perfect, if it is, if it's not, or hell, if it's even gonna work at all. You know, but I was figuring a couple bucks, might as well try it. It'll be something quicker than waiting on my molds to come in. You know, I did order the right ones, but you know, it's the holidays, so things are tending to be a little bit longer than what they're supposed to be right now, so I'm going to stick it here and just kind of flatten it down just a tad, just to kind of So from what I can see, guys, it doesn't look like it might be not doing too bad. Now, will it work for the resin as far as a coaster mold? I'm not too sure about that one just yet, guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to specifically use it for that. Now, as far as maybe something smaller, you know, like a smaller mold, I could definitely see it being able to work for that. But as far as something like this, I really don't know if it's going to work. But we're going to give it a shot and we're going to see. You know, I don't know what it's looking like on the bottom, but I know right here it's looking a little rough right here. I see it kind of sticking to my wood a little bit here, so I'm just going to try to work it off just a tiny bit. I can kind of feel it starting to harden up a bit. And I believe it says that it takes about, from what I was reading, usually takes about an hour or so for it to be removable. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of press down here, that way it gets it pretty even. I want to have a pretty fair amount down there on the bottom. So what we'll do, I'm gonna leave that the way that is. Now I do have a couple of other things here, like these bullet molds. I did want to try to encase a couple of these bullets. I've got some of those, and then I've got a couple of some 38 specials, which are a tad bit bigger than the 380 shells that I just showed you. So what I kind of want to do, I've got some 38 special, just the regular defense, and then I've got some 38 special hollow point. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try with these as well, and I'm gonna see if that comes out for me at all. You know, maybe even if it doesn't work for the big one here like I want it to, then maybe I can at least get it to work for the smaller one. You know, because I don't want it to be just a total bust. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try a couple of smaller things as well, just to see, you know, if maybe it'll work for the smaller stuff also. Because like I said, guys, it might be a little tough to do with the one there, as far as it being the wood. You know, with it being wood, it might be a little harder because silicone adheres to wood too, you know, so that might be a little difficult. I kind of thought about that after the fact. But, you know, it's not a great big of a deal if it does. So what we're going to do here, we're going to kind of just flatten out a couple of pieces here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to just totally encase this, kind of just totally encase it, that way I could just see if I can't get the mold to kind of form around it, you know, and see if I can't get it to just be a full-blown bullet mold. know. So I'm gonna leave it like this and just kind of poke through it for a second there, just kind of poke around at it. Maybe I can get it to work for me like this. That way it'll take its shape. And I just kind of stuck it inside there, and I'm just gonna see what that'll give me. Maybe once it hardens, you know, maybe it'll be a real cool bullet shell. You know, I'm not sure, but you know, it's just something. I'm just kind of experimenting with you guys. And all I did with that was I kind of just stuck it in there and just kind of patted around it. And I'm just going to kind of let this one dry in my hand for a second here, just so I don't have to worry about it sticking to anything, or you know, anything along those lines. So I kind of wanted to do it a couple of different ways with these. I wanted to try it this way, and so once it starts kind of hardening up a tad bit, like the coaster here, that's kind of getting to take its silicone form. But what I'm gonna do, guys, you can see this one's kind of drying in my hand for a minute here. This one here, as far as the coaster, looks like it's almost dry enough to where I might be able to start working it out of there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give these a few minutes to dry, probably about an hour or so, and once I believe that they're dry enough, I'm going to come on back and we will demold them and see if we got some usable molds. Thank you for tuning in, guys. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, please. And we will see you in just a minute. Alright, guys, so it's been about an hour and a half or so. I gave it enough time for it to kind of set in and cure, just enough time so the silicone will dry up. So now we're going to go ahead and demold them. We'll demold it. While I was waiting, I kind of got a little anxious. So I stuck a 38 special bullet. I stuck down into here, and I made one. I'm hoping it kind of came out. It's a little hard to tell from just looking in. It definitely looks like it has the rim, you know, like the tip of the bullet. And then in this one here, I did it the opposite way with the rim of the you know, the rim of the bullet down, so the you know, firing pin down. That one's not, I definitely didn't make that one as pretty, which of course it's just an experiment, so none of them's really pretty. And I also went on ahead and made a few different molds, you know, using a few different things, like some of my kids' little Fortnite toys, and you know, a few of their little guns and stuff like that, just to kind of see what it's all about, you know, get a good idea of you know, if it's even gonna work, you know, if it looks cool, if it'll work, if it won't, you know, whatever the case is. But anyways, let's go on ahead. And I was kind of working this around. I haven't fully pulled it out, but as I was waiting, Once I noticed it was pretty much dry, I went on ahead and kind of worked it around a little bit, just to kind of break it free, so as it was curing, well, drying, or whatever you want to call it, it wasn't but so hard to get out. I definitely didn't want it to sit up to the wood. So it definitely looked like it popped. You know, then, well, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. So there you go, guys. It definitely popped out very easily. Honestly, while I was waiting, the only thing that I did do was kind of go around the sides and worked it out. It definitely looks like a perfect square. It's pretty solid. You know, it's bendable. You know, it looks like it's definitely smooth. The outside's not so smooth, but as far as the inside where it's going to be at, it definitely looks like it's pretty fairly smooth in there. You know, and of course I made it a tad bit bigger than I wanted it to be, just in case it wasn't so smooth inside. Well, that wall there looks like it might be a little rough. You know, so I made it a tad bit bigger than what I wanted it to be. That way, you know, once I get done with it, I can push it down, or cut it down, and make sure that I get it to size. So let's mess with some of these here. This was the last one I did, so I'll let that one dry a little bit longer. It's still a little wet there. This was the first one, so let's pull these out of here and kind of see what we got. Oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. Wow, that actually gave us the mold, and you can actually see the different indents of the gun. So that's pretty cool there. And then same thing with the axe. The axe came out pretty good as well. Let's try this one here. Wow, this one here was actually pretty good too. So that mold actually came out pretty fairly decent, guys. It looks like it poked through here, where the reload is here for the chamber there, where you cock it back at if it were a real gun. So what I'll do, I'll stick a bead of silicone behind there and just kind of cover that hole up. But all in all, guys, that looks like a pretty good mold. I'm kind of anxious to use it. I'm gonna fill it up tonight and let it sit through the night and kind of come back tomorrow and see if the resin cures in it, and if it actually works like that. I'm anxious to see that. This one here is just kind of like I said, there again, some Fortnite toys. The back of this mold's actually still a little wet, so I'm gonna grab a paper towel here and dry it off a tad bit. This one might not be all the way done, but we'll go ahead and pull it out anyways. Let's see here. Start with the little one. This one I just kind of shoved in there. I don't know if that was even really enough on it, but actually that definitely came out pretty good too there. You can pretty much see how everything is on it. So I'll run, it seems a little thin, so what I'll do is I'll run a little bit of silicone behind there just to make sure that it's alright. And these here, let's pop these out. Wow, that one came out pretty good too. It's got all the detail into it. Definitely all the detail is there. Let's see here. So as you can see, that's all the detail there. It was kind of laid in there like that. So all the detail along there, that actually came out pretty fairly good actually. It's a little hard to see it on the camera, but let's get this one here out of there. This one didn't come out too bad. I probably didn't push it down very hard, so that one wasn't the best, but I'm sure you'll be able to kind of see what it is. But I think all in all, the best one is going to be this one. It's definitely going to be this one here. You could definitely see you could definitely tell the difference there. And then of course this one. Oh, I'm dropping some bullets. I've got our next pour here is going to be some coasters with some 380 shells and some 9mm shells. We're going to be doing making some coasters with them. And then the coaster here that we just made for the mold here, I'm hoping I can reuse it again. You know, if I can, then, you know, obviously if this works, then I'm going to be making a few different ones, and you know, I'll just continue to make my own molds rather than having to buy them and wait weeks, or wait, you know, 2 or 3 days to get the mold. You know, obviously if I can run to Home Depot and pick up some $5 you know, $5 a tube you know, silicone, and spend a little bit of time making my own mold, as long as I have it, then, you know, I'm perfectly fine with that, as long as it comes out the way it's supposed to be. This one didn't come out too bad either. Could be a tad bit better, but it definitely captured the detail. But it's a little hard to tell in the camera. The true test is definitely going to be when I pour them, which I'm planning to do tonight. So what I'll do, I will be putting an updated video up. So I will pour them tonight, and I will do an updated video, and that way I can let you guys know how it went, what it was like, if it demolded properly, you know, and just so on and so on. I really like this coaster here, the coaster mold. That's very solid. You know, it's a really thick mold. So I've got high hopes for this one, and I really think that one's going to come out great. But other than that, guys, if you liked the video, if it was helpful to you, and if you want to see more, you know, whether it's our experiments, or whether it's just watching us do some pours, or you know, if we're teaching you some stuff, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any specific videos that you'd like us to do, please make sure you comment that below, and let us know what you'd like to see, what you'd like to know. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. We can definitely help answer that. You can find us on Facebook at Wiseman Custom Resin, or you can find us on Etsy at www.etsy.com/shop/Wiseman Custom Resin. We've got a full shop there. You can see some of our products that we offer for sale. Obviously, guys, the stuff that we're doing here, obviously it's not going to be for sale. This is just us messing around. We're just kind of trying to get some different stuff out onto the YouTube channel, since we're a little new to YouTube. Just kind of trying to get ourselves out there. So like I said, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and definitely let us know if you've got any questions. Alright, guys, talk to y'all later.